Hey guys, and welcome back to Morgs Menu. Today I'm going to be showing you another cook with me video. Today we're going to be testing out chicken Alfredo roll-ups. I see this cooking video all the time on Facebook and on different tasty videos and things like that, and I really wanted to try it, so today we're going to be testing it out. I'll be showing you the steps and we'll see how it turns out at the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have not yet subscribed, make sure you go ahead and subscribe down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of video, and let's get started.
Alright guys, so we're going to start by preparing the chicken in this recipe. You can also use rotisserie chicken, but I had some chicken thighs that I needed to cook up, so I threw them in a crock pot on low for 4 to 6 hours. I basically used one small to medium chicken thigh per serving, and then just put the chicken thighs in with some chicken broth into the crock pot and let that cook so it was nice and easy to shred. This is everything else that you're going to need for this recipe. So we have some milk, lasagna noodles, Parmesan cheese, cream cheese, butter, garlic, lemon juice, salt, pepper, and any other spices you'd like. We'll start by preheating the oven to 350 degrees. Next, we're going to start by adding a big pot of water to the stove and setting the burner on high to start boiling. Once the water has boiled, you're going to go ahead and start cooking your lasagna noodles. One thing to note is you want to use a pretty big pot for this, as the lasagna noodles are big themselves, and you don't want to break these at all because you want the full noodle to be able to do the roll-up. So start by just putting them in. I kind of put them so they're halfway in, and then as they cook down and soften up on the end, they're going to kind of fall into the pot. Once you see them starting to cook, you can start by kind of taking a spoon and pushing the ends down. Again, do this very carefully so that you're sure not to break any of the noodles. Once you've got them all submerged in the water, just let them cook based on the box instructions and strain them when they're done. So next we're going to start with the Alfredo sauce. I did half this recipe, so this will be 2 tablespoons of butter. I'll add that to your pan at medium heat and just wait for it to completely melt. Once the butter's completely melted, you're going to go ahead and add 1 clove of garlic, which is about a tablespoon. And go ahead and let that saute around for about a minute or 2. You just want to make sure you're mixing the garlic around every once in a while so that it doesn't burn. After those couple minutes are up, you're going to go ahead and add your flour in. For this I used about 1/8 of a cup, or 2 tablespoons. Once you add that flour in, you're going to immediately want to whisk everything together to make sure it browns nicely and gets very combined with the garlic and the butter. Next, we're going to go ahead and pour in our milk. So we're going to use about 1.25 cups and go ahead and add that in. Again, very important to whisk in all the ingredients immediately here and kind of constantly stir to make sure everything is nice and combined. That way it doesn't end up clumpy or have anything burnt on the bottom. You're going to continually kind of mix that in until you see the mixture come to a simmer. Once you start to see those bubbles, you know that it's just getting started to simmer, so you're going to go ahead and add in the cream cheese. So we have 2 tablespoons of cream cheese and then about 1/4 cup of Parmesan. You could use either grated or shredded, whichever you have. And then go ahead and make sure everything is combined in. Now as you can see here, my sauce was a little bit thick, so I added a little bit more milk. Then I added in lemon juice, pepper, and salt. I'm going to let that simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes until it's completely at the consistency you like it. going to go ahead and prepare the roll-ups themselves. So we're going to start by getting our pan ready and putting a little bit of the sauce along the bottom to make sure none of the noodles stick once we put it in the oven. Once you have that thin, even layer, we're going to go ahead and start with the noodles. So we'll start by laying out one of the noodles flat on a surface, adding a couple tablespoons of the Alfredo mixture, and then repeating on some remaining noodles, and then adding the chicken in. Once you've added both ingredients, you're just going to slowly roll the noodle. This actually was pretty simple. I was worried about tearing, but because I let the noodles cool a decent amount, they were really easy to work with. So just roll it, make sure none of the ingredients are sticking out the end once it's rolled, and then place it into the pan seam side down. And then you're just going to repeat those steps for the remaining roll-ups. Once you have all of the roll-ups completed, we're going to go ahead and just top the remaining sauce on all of the roll-ups. Again, I mentioned my sauce is a little thick, so it didn't run over as well as I would like to, but I just had to make sure that they're completely covered so that when you put it in the oven, the noodles don't get crispy along the edges. And here's what it's going to look like when it's ready to go in the oven. Next, we're going to put it in our oven that's preheated at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Once the 20 minutes are up, I went ahead and paired this with a salad that you'll see here and started plating. We ended up only eating about 2 roll-ups per serving. That was plenty for us for the dinner along with the salad. This did heat up pretty well as leftovers, so that's good to know. And here is the final product of the chicken Alfredo roll-ups with a salad.
Alright guys, so it's now a couple days later. I wanted to do kind of this check-in outro after we had tried the recipe. That way I can give you any tips or tricks to change to it, since this was the first time I ever made these chicken Alfredo roll-ups. The sauce itself came out pretty good. I think I mentioned in the video it was a little bit thick, so I might fix the ratio with kind of flour and the amount of milk I used, but overall the taste and the flavor of it was really good. I will note though, in the original recipe it said to use parsley, and I was out of parsley, so I excluded that. I didn't think it was going to be a huge deal, but I would say it felt like it was kind of missing seasoning. So I would definitely say if you try this recipe, make sure you add in the parsley and probably add a little bit more salt and pepper than what I added in. It was still good, it just felt like it could be better, if that makes sense, and I think it was mostly that parsley that didn't bring out all the other flavors. But otherwise it was a really good recipe, a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Make it even easier by just buying the Alfredo sauce and doing the roll-ups that way. That could cut down the time a lot on this. So a lot of easy alterations for this, and I really liked it because a lot of times I feel like when I make lasagna type things, I have to make this huge portion that we never fully eat. So this, I could narrow it down and just do 2 servings, and it was really, really good. I would definitely recommend it, and we'll definitely be eating it again. So nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, if you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. If you haven't yet subscribed, or if you're new here, make sure you go ahead and subscribe down below. Also, make sure you ring the notification bell. I do put out new videos every Wednesday and Sundays. Thank you so much for watching Morgs Menu, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.